especially being at the age of just turned 14, going to the police was something one didn't really do. You kind of went to your friends or your parents first with something like that. And I immediately was in a situation of, keep your mouth shut, don't ever mention this, don't embarrass the family, protect the family, that type of thing. Was going through some therapy. I was in New York around 1999, 2000, and I had left a psychoanalyst that I was seeing, and I had gone past a Barnes & Noble bookstore, and they had a launch of a book called Tom Jones Closer. And I actually responded to the authors, the biographers of the book, and I said to them, I mentioned to them that they should get their correct information, because this happened to me. They wanted to even write a story about what had happened with me, and they couldn't do it because in fear of being silenced through his celebrityhood and his status. It was just not possible. Eventually, when I was of age, I was kind of in my 40s, and I realized all of this, there was a lot of child abuse scenarios that were coming out in the press and in the media, and I had started writing to a lot of people. I was trying to break the story, I was trying to get assistance, and I was asking them for guidances into how can we get this out as part of, because it's all linked. And Max Clifford at the time was one of the biggest publicists in the UK. And a very powerful man. And he had a gentleman working for him, Phil Hall, who had worked for News of the World. And he had gotten Phil Hall to discuss with me the opportunities, and clearly I remember the words is, we'll take this on, but you need to sign the confidentiality clause, and then so that it doesn't go anywhere else.
Backed on it, but you have some proof, don't you? Didn't you have a photograph?
I have some photographs. It's so funny because, with Max Clifford, they sent me a letter to sign to say that I would not divulge any information to the Sun or to whoever, without their kind of blah, blah, blah. But of course, I'd never heard anything, and about a year later when I was in New York, I just thought, no, I need closure on all things. So if they're not going to do this, I need to know from them,
Well, what were they asking you to do? Not do what? Not tell?
In other words, I may not speak to any other member of the press.
Oh, to hell with them. They're not acting on it at all.
Yeah.
No, they have to, if they're interested, they have to represent you, But the only thing is he knows how to milk a story, and he knows how to sell it to a lot of different things at once,
Mm-hmm,
So he's... But, there may be some reason they don't want to move on it, for all you know.
What they called it was checkbook journalism at the time, because they...
Who called it that? Max Clifford's guy?
Well, yeah. They said because...
They can talk. I mean, that's all they do. That's their job,
Yeah.
Well, he's such a pig, isn't he?
And I took such offense. You've been sitting with us inside
also,
of you.
I mean, why should he get away with just paying, without any exposure? How old were you again when it happened?
14, just on 14. But he knew. I mean, I was a virgin. He he ripped me to pieces inside, and I was bleeding all over the place. It was pretty obvious that I wasn't
what an animal. God.
You know, I wasn't an experienced girl or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, and it's definitely something that's, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of it. I wake up every morning and that's the first thing that's on my mind.
So by way of proof, you could, apart from telling your story, you could show photos of him and you together.
I have a few, yes. With him, he's wearing a dressing gown.
Yeah, well that's it then, isn't it? That's pretty definitive. Well, the only other thing is, if you wait till I'm back in London. I'll be back in London at the end of March. I'll give you. Have you got email?
Yes.
If you want to email me when I'm back, I'll make a few subtle inquiries.
Max Clifford had got me to sign a confidentiality clause about 15 years ago, I think. Yeah, exactly, 2000. That I wouldn't speak to the press or to anybody about this. And he didn't communicate with me over the years. Eventually, I was never getting response to any messages, emails, phone calls from him. And when all the news broke through the BBC, particularly regarding Jimmy Savile, Stuart Hall, Rolf Harris, Max Clifford, the whole lot of them, one after another, this was kind of bamboozling me, and I kept thinking, why should this guy be so protected? I was just confused, and the more I was trying to, so I wrote a note to Max Clifford to ask, and I never got a response, of course not realizing that he was being questioned for the very same crime.